Hey there, if you want to know what's going on in the Stockton, California housing market, continue to watch this video. My name is David, this is Richard. We're brokers here in Stockton, California, and this is the November housing market update. All right, you may have heard about a cooling off or a slowing down of the real estate market, and it seems like it has. Let's get into the data here. The number of newly listed homes, which is the light green bar on the screen, fell a little bit from the previous month, from 336 to 326. That caused maybe a little bit of the sold homes to decline as well. That was 278 last month versus the previous month were 306. How did the pending sales look for last month?
Well, the pendings, we hope, because they went up, might bring both the solds, especially the solds, back up too, and help make up for that. So yes, there's a little bit of a drop, but I don't think it's anything that's setting a trend yet. We won't know that for a few more months.
Yes, it seems like the housing market could be cooling off a little bit based on these numbers, but I want to keep it in perspective. I want to take a look at a 4-year chart to see what it was back in some normal markets.
Right.
2020 was not a normal market, so we're going to throw that one out the window. So let's go back and look at some previous data to see where we're at compared to then. All right, so up behind us here is a 4-year chart of basically the same graph that shows the number of listings for sale, how many have sold, and how many went pending. Now, the biggest thing that jumps out to me on this chart are the listings, which is the light green bar on the chart here. So if you go back to 2017, 18, 19, and even into 2020 a little bit, the amount of listings on the market is well below what we saw in those years. And even though we saw an increase here a little bit of the listings that came on the market, it's still nowhere near what it was in 2018 and 2019, where it reached a peak of over 700 homes on the market, which is double the amount we have here.
Yeah.
So we can use to stand still more listings coming on the market. There's plenty of buyer demand going on given the amount of pendings that we're seeing in the marketplace. So with this kind of pending activity and the relatively low amount of listing compared to the previous years, what do you think is going to happen?
Well, yeah, I think you said it right. The pending's going up. Going to lower the inventory a little more. Unless the inventory picks back up some more, it is still going to be a seller's market going into next year.
All right, guys, let's take a look at this same chart, but we're going to look at days on market and how quickly the homes are selling. All right, so behind me here is a 4-year chart of the days on market, which is an indicator of how long it takes for homes to go pending sale. Last month in October 2021, that number climbed to 20 days. So it went from 17 days up to 20 days, an indication of homes aren't selling as quickly. But that's why I wanted to pull up the 4-year chart, just to give some perspective of what it was like in the last basically 4 years. And we're still at a low when it comes to the days on market. I mean, there were, Richard, times in 2019, what did it show there?
Over 60, so what, 3 times longer?
Yeah.
20 is a pretty short period of time, even if they had to adjust their price one time.
If you were to average all of these out, the average days on market's normally in a normal market somewhere around 30. Yeah. So while it could seem like homes are staying on the market longer, they are, but in perspective of the last previous years, this homes are still selling quick.
Right, that 30 days is still a good market.
All right, so with this little bit of softening, let's take a look at what homes are selling for and their prices.
Okay, and on this graph, we have the solds right here in red, and we have the for sale in green. You saw just last month and the month before we talked about they kind of came closer together, which is good for the market. Right here, a little bit of a spread showing that maybe we had some overpriced listings that had to be adjusted, and that's causing that little bit of gap there. So are we slowing down maybe just a little? I think maybe, but that doesn't mean there's a drop. It just means that we're having to adjust our prices down to where the market is to get them sold, thus causing this gap.
Yeah.
I don't think that's anything to get alarmed about unless it goes on for about 3 or 4 months.
Yeah, and if you were to compare it still to 1 year ago, the average sold price here in Stockton last month was $431. A year ago, it was at $385. That's still a very good, significant return. Well, there's two things I think they're going to really slow this market, and that is interest rates. If rates continue to climb, it's going to hinder buyers' ability to afford homes. So we got to keep a close eye on what interest rates are doing. And then secondly, we touched on is supply and demand. As long as there's a lack of homes on the market at the levels we're at now, we're going to continue to see the price appreciation. And until that levels off, I think we're going to still see good returns.
Right. The seller will still be more in charge, just maybe not as much as they've been, say, 6 months ago.
Yeah.
Well, based on the numbers we've gone over today, it looks like a little bit of a slowdown, which is kind of normal coming into winter and into the holidays anyway. So let's see what happens for the next 3 or 4 months and see if this is a trend or if it's just the winter normal slowdown. Mm-hmm. And it's still very, very strong, and it still is totally a seller's market.
Guys, thanks so much for watching this month's housing market update here for the Stockton, California market. If you guys have any questions whatsoever on your house or want any further information from us, feel free to reach out. Our numbers are right down below on the screen. And be sure to tune in next month. We do this video each and every month, so hit that subscribe button right down below if you're on YouTube. And we'll see you again next month. Thanks so much for watching.